Hey everyone, welcome to another great weekend. And you know what that means? It's time for Black USA crypto news. So I'm so happy to be here with you. Thanks for tuning in. And of course, be sure to check out all the other great programming here on Black USA News. Of course, we have Sister Biz with Nicole and Tamara. Doug Blacksher coming in every Thursday evening with the Black Business Roundtable. And of course, check out the Blackout on Saturday mornings. And of course, if you can't tune in live, you can always check the archives here. Got a lot of great shows talking about a lot of great stuff. So also, if you guys haven't had a chance to check it out yet, please be sure to go to my website at www.kamalarhubbard and check out DeFi for the Diaspora. This has been quite an experience for me, writing a book, me being first-time author, and self-publishing. I've learned quite a bit through the process, and so far it's been fun, and it's starting to get interesting in terms of the book getting out there, the messaging getting out there. So I really appreciate everybody who's had a chance to pick up that book and support the vision, support the message, and support the mission. This actually brings me to a story that I actually came across this week. In terms of blockchain, Africa's leading blockchain infrastructure seeks to spearhead the tokenization of its rich natural resources on the continent. And that is going to be undertaken by the Bantu Blockchain. So they are the largest and leading blockchain project out of Africa. So be sure to keep your eye on that news story. And, it's really important for us to know what's going on, not only here in the United States, but in South America, the Eurozone, in Asia, and of course, the continent of Africa. And with that, I want to bring in and introduce my guest today. And I'm going to bring him right in. It's Matthias.
Yes.
How you doing, Matthias?
Hi, Kamal. How are you doing today?
All right. Well, welcome to the show. I'm so glad that you could take time out of your busy schedule to join us and talk to us about Santin. And but before we get there, you've done quite a bit of work in the blockchain and cryptocurrency space. If you could give us a little bit of background on some of your accomplishments and what you do kind of on a day-to-day nowadays, and tell us more about Santin, that'd be great.
Sure. Thank you for inviting me, first of all, and I really appreciate that. So my name is Matthias Abdissa, and I'm originally from Ethiopia. I've been in the States for about 10 years now, and my background is software engineering. I have master's in computer science, and I have worked for software companies as a backend developer. And I was also able to launch 3 of my startups, and was able to raise close to 6 figures in funding in the past 4 or 5 years. My journey in crypto space started around late 2016 when I was doing e-commerce at that time, mostly selling products on Amazon and Walmart. So I learned about crypto from a couple of my friends. But before that, the first time I heard about Bitcoin was in 2014. But at that point, I was out of college. I didn't understand how the world works, how the monetary system works. I had no idea. So for me, Bitcoin felt like, oh, another PayPal. That was my thinking. But throughout the 2.5 years period, I learned quite a lot about the financial system in the U.S., as well as centralization, how companies like Uber, Amazon, they have a big power, and they have a control over their employees, as well as contractors, or even anybody who sells on their platform. So yeah, initially I was interested in just to invest in ICOs. I don't know if you guys remember. 2017 was the period where you can buy tokens, and then they can grow 20, 50, even 100 or 1,000x in a year. So there was kind of a gold rush where people were really interested in. So I was okay, let me invest in this. That's how I started. So initially it was about Bitcoin and Ethereum. However, I started, digging deep into the space, and I learned more about decentralization, tokenization of assets, and how they work. So I got really interested in, and then I closed my e-commerce company in mid 2018, and then I worked for Reserve Protocol in 29 around like 2019. I started working for a company called Reserve Protocol. I helped them expand to Africa. So they are a stablecoin company where literally it's like having a digital dollar that you can carry it on your mobile anywhere in the world. So they were very active in Venezuela, in Latin America, and they're still do that. And they've been backed by Coinbase as well as Peter. So that is like a higher level of my journey, from late 2016 up to like mid 2019 or late 2019. Yeah. And then after that, COVID came in and I started working for Reserve Protocol, and I was thinking about like, okay, what should I do next? And then at that point, I was already like really invested in, crypto space, and I knew that like I want to stay in the space. So I thought about like, I was, stable coins were getting popular since 2018. So I had a lot of friends who need help in opening PayPal accounts, paying their bills online, which they live in Africa, right? Like in Ethiopia, some of them in Kenya, South Africa, so different places. So that is where the idea of Santim was born. Um, yeah, so Santim.com right now gives Africans access to US banking system. That means you can open a US bank account, you can have a wire, ACH capability, and also crypto custody. So you can also convert your USD to crypto, and we also help you cash out local in local exchanges in Africa. So you might ask, like, why do need people in Africa need a US banking system, right? So the main reason is access to dollar in African countries is really tough because of the import and export balance. So not everywhere, but in a lot of countries, accessing a dollar is like kind of luxury. So so if you are a developer and you want to pay, let's say you want to work for Microsoft or you want to work for any outside company, the way you get paid is through like it used to be like the Western Union, and then there are also remittance applications that help you do that. However, we also care about ownership of the account. So with Santim.com, it's not a remittance application, but it's like having a Bank of America account where you can manage your own money in our platform. So it gives the power to Africans to do international business. Could be developers, it could be import export, or any person like who does business outside of Africa.
That's extremely helpful. I mean, I think with everything that happened with COVID and the increase in e-commerce, the ability for obviously people in the continent to do e-commerce with people in the United States, hopefully that has increased. But it's definitely an opportunity to show that there is a market there for us to do commerce. And a solution like Santim is actually, I mean, it would be kind of like the backbone of certain companies trying to do e-commerce here.
Yes, yes. So let's say right now you have products you want to sell from Africa to the US or Europe or anywhere in the world. If you have like a Santim account, people can send you money through our platform. So literally you can receive dollars, you can receive crypto, and different kind of like cryptocurrencies as well. The one of the other powerful thing is if you see local currencies in Africa, they always devalue quite a lot. Even dollar here, it used to have like 2%. We used to have like 2% inflation rate. So if you have like $100 today, maybe next year it could be $98 worth. But if you live in Africa and you hold on to like our currencies, their devaluation is quite crazier than it is here. So for example, like if you go to in Sudan or even like in Ethiopia, like you may see like 24, 25, or even like 30% devaluation. So with our platform, you have the option of holding it like in USD, in crypto, or even in the future in your own local currency. So our main idea is giving ownership and giving flexibility of managing your money in different currencies. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I'm honestly so excited to have you on just to talk about your company and what it does and how it empowers people, with that. And I think it's about time for something like this to, hit the marketplace. So, thanks for being visionary and thinking of this. And I mean, honestly, too, I think it's good for you to have the opportunity to kind of talk about it and let people know that something like this is out here. So,
Yeah, thank you.
Thanks again.
Sure. Thanks so much.
You mentioned earlier you're from Ethiopia, and from time to time I'm on Twitter, and I saw that the F hashtag is now attributed to Ethiopia and Ethiopian flag. So I thought that was kind of cool too. What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah. So like, I saw them, Jack Dorsey's tweet about like, ETH and then Ethiopian flag. So probably I saw it like maybe 30 minutes later. So when I see like the Ethereum community, they thought he was talking about Ethereum, but when I see the flag, I was immediately, okay, he is talking about Ethereum. One of the reasons is he's also a Bitcoin maximalist. He only cares about Bitcoin. We made it into, actually, I met him in 2019 in Ethiopia, where we had a dinner with probably like five other like entrepreneurs to talk about Bitcoin in Africa. So right now, like the past few 2 weeks, there was a hype about like ETH Ethiopia. So right now we actually created a DAO, or decentralized autonomous organization, called Ethiopian DAO, with a couple of people from Coinbase and different companies who work in crypto space. The idea is to bring Ethiopian developers to help build in the crypto space. Could be Ethereum, Bitcoin, or much more else. And we've seen like support, a little bit of support from the Ethereum community. So we're still like in the process of trying to figure out like, okay, what we can do, what we can contribute, maybe like how to raise fund for Ethiopians to learn and build on crypto space. But yeah, it was exciting.
Yeah, that was really awesome. And I mean, I'm glad you mentioned Jack Dorsey, and there is your opportunity to meet with him or just sit down and hear him speak kind of in person in Africa. What were some of the other things that he kind of touched on and talked about and that he felt was important?
So I think he already understands that, let's say, like the SWIFT system that is used in the world, like to transact like wire transfers or international payments, it hurts Africa quite a lot. So, for example, if you want to send the money from, let's say, like Kenya to Nigeria, the old system is you have to go through dollar, which means you have to go through the SWIFT network, and you pay a really hefty fee to send money, just like another country in a continent. But so he already understood that Bitcoin and other cryptocurrencies can solve that problem. For me, one thing I don't agree with that is I believe in Bitcoin as a store of value, but it's a very volatile asset at this moment. It makes it harder to exchange, to use it like a value transfer. So, for example, let's say I give you like maybe 0.1 Bitcoin now. Maybe after 10 hours, maybe when you wake up from, let's say from Ethiopia, you could see the value could have increased or decreased. So I think for me, stable coins are the main ways to transact value. So people are not going to worry more about like, okay, this is not volatile, this is volatile, I say. So they're not going to think about that. So with Santim, we have the option of stable coins, we have the option of Bitcoin, and also USD. So it's giving like power to people to use the kind of monetary system they like.
Yeah, choices and options are obviously it's the best thing to have, and I mean that's what people didn't have it until your company came along. So that's a great thing. I mean, I think just getting this far into the show, we've talked about a lot of terms, and I know we have a lot of newcomers to crypto. So I kind of want to backtrack a little bit. You did mention Bitcoin maximalism and Bitcoin maximalists. So can you kind of go back over that concept again?
Yeah, I think like Bitcoin maximalism means you only believe in Bitcoin as a cryptocurrency, so you don't see the other cryptocurrencies as anything valuable. But for me, I'm not a maximalist in any coin. Actually, I try to be more open minded to see, even like future cryptocurrencies. We don't know. Maybe 2 3 years later, we might have like something new that can solve like existing problems. So for me, I am a very cryptocurrency agnostic, but that doesn't mean I also support everything. But yeah, the idea of maximalism is just supporting one cryptocurrency. You could also be like Ethereum maximalist, which means like you don't like Bitcoin, you don't like others, you only care about Ethereum. So yeah.
Yeah, I see a lot of Dogecoin maximalists out there.
Is that Elon Musk?
I mean, do you not? Well, okay. So sorry, but not trying to poke fun at the Dogecoin community. I actually love their enthusiasm. It's pretty awesome. All right. Well, just to say it. I kind of liked it more before Elon came along, but hey, I think everybody kind of has an opinion on that.
Yeah. To be honest, like I haven't went in depth about like how Dogecoin works or like the system, like how it works. But from what I have seen, like higher level, people like created it as a fun coin just for fun, and then it was like it is still like $1 billion valuation. So I have like a small amount of Dogecoin, but literally I'm just like speculating on Dogecoin. The main reason is, yeah, like a lot of people know about it. Elon Musk talks about it, so there could be a chance might grow. But I have never used it like as a way to transact with anybody else using Dogecoin. But I have used like Ethereum, Bitcoin, as well as stable coins.
Yeah. So, and that was the next thing I was going to get to is stable coins. And, we had a chance to sit on a panel earlier this year on the future of stable coins. But before we get to the future of stable coins, let's talk about what stable coins are as a definition. And then, well, let's just start there, I guess.
Sure. So a stablecoin is a type of cryptocurrency that its value doesn't fluctuate like other cryptocurrencies. So the main idea is just to make it's equal to like $1, or it could be any currency. So let's say if you have a USD stablecoin, that means it tries to be $1 all the time. Let's say if it's like a Nigerian stablecoin, it's always going to be like 1 naira. So there are different kind of stable coins, and most of like the very known stable coins are backed by USD. So the way it works is, let's say you have a bank account as a owner of that stable coin, and for every dollar you have as a cryptocurrency, you need to have $1 in your bank account. So that is like just the simplistic form is it is a cryptocurrency that doesn't fluctuate, and it's backed by some kind of asset. So usually the common asset is USD that stays in your bank account. There are also like algorithmic stable coins, and also there are other stable coins built on, let's say, Ethereum. So DAI is the most common one that is backed by Ethereum. So yeah, I think there are probably like 3 4 kinds of stable coins that are known.
Yeah, and I know it always kind of, or there's debate, or not so much debate, but like you said, there's the dollar-backed stable coins, the commodities-backed stable coins, crypto-backed stable coins, and the algorithmic stable coins. That's the 3 or 4 that are at least the most prevalent in the space. I think there's a use case for all of them. Obviously, among the most controversial are the algorithmic stable coins, or at least I find them to be the most controversial, unless you're talking about something like Tether, of course, So I don't know. Maybe you could talk a little bit more about algorithmic stablecoins. I mean, it's pretty self-explanatory for someone like me, but once again, someone who may be a beginner to that sort of concept, if you could maybe just scratch the surface on it.
Sure. So I'm gonna probably touch like only surface level because I work mostly on stablecoin that are backed by USD, like USDC and USDT. So that is where I have more knowledge. However, algorithmic stablecoins are stablecoins where like the cryptocurrency smart contract, like it's gonna determine by supply and demand. So there is no backing behind it, but however, through like the supply and demand, they try to maintain the peg of, they say, like $1. So there has been cases actually where the stable coins also lose their peg, which means they at some point of time they start becoming volatile, and instead of like being $1, it could be 85 cents, 70 cents, or less. So but honestly speaking, like I would be very happy to see like algorithmic stable coins succeed. The reason is right now when you are using a stable coin that is backed by a dollar or any kind of like sovereign currency, you literally depend on the sovereignty of that country. Let's say right now, US is one of the most powerful country where the fluctuation of the dollar could be better compared to like developing countries, right? So for someone who lives, let's say, in Africa, holding a dollar, it could be much more, it could have like much more strength than holding a local currency. But right now in the US, we're also seeing like inflation where probably like I don't know, it could be like 4 or 5%. So you're literally like losing 3 to 5% every year on your money. So maybe like when stablecoin algorithmic stablecoins come, I don't know if they would solve that problem. But yeah, I'm definitely excited to see more of that.
Yeah, you're right. I feel like to me, they're controversial for that reason, right? That they can sometimes go under, that $1 mark, and then people feel a certain way. But of course, when it's over $1, everybody's happy and loves that particular asset. So, and then there's just been a lot of algorithmic stable coins that just turned out to fail. So, but what I do like about algorithmic stablecoins is the concept of elastic money, and the money supply growing when it needs to and contracting when it needs to. So I'm keeping a very close eye on those algorithmic stablecoins.
Sure.
As should anyone, really, I think. But let's talk about the future stable coins, though, for sure, because obviously the next big step in stable coins are CBDCs, central bank digital currencies. China is working pretty diligently on their CBDCs. Russia, I know as well. The United States has theirs under wraps too. And some other countries have given, or at least tried to do some degree of a country stable coin. So, what are your thoughts on maybe a few of those countries, China in particular, Russia, and the United States?
Sure. So my belief is, let's say if your country is like run by let's say dictatorship, or there's like a government monopoly, I think CDBCs can become popular because the government will have like a right way of controlling like the monetary system. But history showed us that so far like governments are not able to be like diligent in managing like currency, and probably like they might not have also like that much of incentive to be very transparent on their monetary system. So for me, I'm not a fan of like CDBCs. I mean, if it helps like a country, I mean, it's okay to see, but I believe in like private stable coins quite a lot. And one of the reason I worked for Reserve Protocol, which was a stablecoin company, is because of like that belief. I think probably like stable coins that are private could have an incentive to be transparent, open source, and manage their monetary system, not only by them but also hopefully like by the community of like by their own community, who own their tokens as well. So for me, I think private stable coins would lead the future, mainly because of like openness, and also you can bring more knowledge from being open source. The other part is right now, for example, like private stable coins, you can also generate from 4 to 12% APY per year, which means if you deposit like $10,000, on average, like by the end of the year, you might generate like just $1,000. Right now, if you do that in Bank of America, Wells Fargo, you're gonna get probably like 0.1. So it's literally like 80 to 100% more profit you can make on your stable coins. So I think when people realize that, I feel like people can use private stable coins. My only fear is in governments, like especially like CDBCs in developing countries or in a dictatorship countries, they could monopolize that, and then they can make maybe like private stablecoins illegal. But as countries like US, I feel like there is a big opportunity, and we're already seeing USDT, USDC, even like Reserve. There are like so many other stablecoins that are doing well.
Yeah, I mean, I think now, especially, with more people kind of entering, crypto, the range of stablecoin options out there are great. It's not just, Tether anymore. So, I guess, kind of talking about states or countries adopting crypto. What are your thoughts on the El Salvador announcement that came out a few months back, I think?
Yeah, sure. I think it was really great news for the crypto community, not only Bitcoin, even like the rest of the crypto community, because it shows that we're entering like a new decade where you can like as a country, like you can literally have another monetary system that is not controlled by like one entity. So if you have seen, like a lot of countries depend on USD reserves. And they say if you don't have a good relationship with the US, you might get sanctioned. There are like a lot of problems. For countries like that, they will have an opportunity to use a different monetary system. However, as I mentioned earlier, I am a holder or hodler of Bitcoin. I see like as a digital gold, but I think maybe like if there is like a stable coin that can be built on top of Bitcoin, that can be used as a way to exchange value or transact on a day-to-day basis. So right now in El Salvador, yes, like Bitcoin, I think if you're a merchant, you must you have to accept like Bitcoin. So that is happening. Actually, I don't know if you're familiar with Fode. Fode from Senegal. He's one of my close friend, and actually he's already there in El Salvador, like seeing what's happening in the space. So I think he's gonna also work on probably like something similar in Senegal, where people can have their own autonomy and use Bitcoin as a way to transact between each other. So yeah, I think it's a good step, and hopefully other countries would adopt it as more like an acceptable form of currency for people to use it.
Yeah, you actually took the cat out of the bag. Fode's my guest actually next week, and yeah. So honestly, I'm excited to have you here today. So I wasn't really looking past this show quite yet to him, but yeah, he's a guest. He's booked, but I also understand he's a very busy gentleman. So if he's not able to make it, then we'll make something else happen. So, but yeah, regardless, got a ton of respect for Fode myself as well, and you know, I I think it is good for the space. It brings up more challenges for crypto. Like there's so much that blockchain can solve in terms of problems, and bringing it directly into a country's geopolitical politics, or region's geopolitical politics, it's really putting the technology to a test, and it's putting the people to the test in terms of, whether they want to adopt it, whether they want to use it. And, once again, the leaders of those countries, it puts them to the test of, are you a dictator or not? Just like you mentioned earlier. So, I think these are good issues for us to begin to discuss and challenge ourselves with as people who are in this industry. So yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing how things go. I mean, obviously there's a lot of people who are taking a closer look at the political environment in El Salvador and are kind of, keeping a very close eye on things there and how Bitcoin changes things. And then I do feel like a lot of Bitcoin maximalists out there heard this news and they just thought it was a win. They don't know anything about El Salvador, never been there, never cared. But hey, it's good for Bitcoin, So, but I think it's good for the industry as a whole, though, once again. Also kind of going back to the future of stablecoins, what else do you see as the future of stablecoins and where they're going to go beyond CBDCs?
Yeah, sure. So I think the main use case for stablecoins is like to exchange value, like without worrying about volatility, right? So I think the way I see stablecoins is in the future, at least every country will have one sort of stablecoin. I'm saying like at least one because I'm sure like private companies want to compete using their own stablecoins. So it will open up like a lot of opportunities for transaction to happen instantly, maybe a few seconds to minutes, in literally like everywhere in the world. So probably I would assume like very conservatively, like in the next 3 to 5 years period, I think we could see a lot of companies like I'm sorry, a lot of countries or companies using stablecoin as a way of transacting. Another way is also like as I mentioned earlier, to generate like on your stablecoin, if you want to make it work, so you can, they say, stake it on different liquidity providers where you put your stablecoin, and then it's being used by another person like behind the scenes, where they can borrow you our money, and then they'll be able to pay you back with some sort of interest. So I think it's already happening, at least in the crypto and the DeFi space, and I'm sure that will follow. I think that will grow much more in the future. I'm sure it's going to be like $1 trillion, industry. No question.
Yeah, absolutely. I think the definitely what you said with private companies creating their own stable coins as well. That is going to be a very interesting scenario, and it's going to be an interesting way to transact as well. And that being the case, and well, I mean, to me, it kind of makes sense once again, or not makes sense, but it would seem as though a lot of those companies would use most likely Ethereum as their go-to blockchain to build these corporate or company stable coins and, rely on the Ethereum blockchain. Do you see any other blockchains out there that might be able to give some degree of competition to Ethereum for some of these private entities?
Sure. So yeah, as you said, like right now, most of the stable coins are built on Ethereum, and Ethereum has already showed that it's working. However, I feel like I don't know if you follow Solana. There's one other protocol called Solana. I feel like they're getting a good traction in their ecosystem, and they could be a very good competitive. They could bring like competition to stablecoins on Ethereum space. So I'm following up like Solana quite a lot in that space. Maybe on Bitcoin too. I think if let's say if there is a way on layer two, I'm not talking about like on layer one, but on layer two solutions, I think stablecoins could come on Bitcoin. But I haven't like went in depth into that. So yeah, I would look into Ethereum. I mean, Ethereum is already there, so Bitcoin and Solana for sure.
Yeah, Solana they got a good thing going right now. So you're right.
Yep.
Keep an eye. And Solana,
the exchange, FTX, right? FTX.
FTX, of course.
Yes, some right. So I think they have a FTX. And actually, quite a few people who are already raising money on Solana and building different kind of applications. I think the main thing is, even if I don't believe in Solana is yet as decentralized as Ethereum and Bitcoin, the future, they're building on Rust. So Rust is known by it's a little bit hard to learn, but it's a very strong language where performance wise, I think it could do way better. And Solana right now has, I forgot, it was like 50 to 60K transaction per second speed. So they can onboard a lot of institution. They can onboard retail without worrying about too much about the speed. So yeah, that's something I'm excited about too.
Yeah, Solana has a ton of or a lot of promise, and you're right. They're so far. I mean, they're doing well, and it's a super fast blockchain. I've had a chance to, put it to the test in a few DeFi applications. Nothing major, but so far I've liked what I've seen. But kind of getting to another story out of Africa. This kind of came out a while back. Cardano's commitment to development in Africa. So did you have a chance to see that a couple months back? And what are your thoughts on some of their efforts?
Sure. Yeah, so Charles is very excited about bringing Cardano to Africa, and they're working in Ethiopia with our government to build a student. I think it's more like a student transcript system where they say if you get a grade A or B or C, you can see that on the blockchain. So people do not create like a fake IDs. So a fake transcript. So one of the things, the problems in Ethiopia right now is a lot of documentation. You can create like a copy or a fake one, and present it somewhere else. So that's becoming big problem, especially in the in the student system. So I think they are working on that. Actually, they had an interview today with Sky News, I believe, and they talked about that. So I even if I didn't get a chance to really get in depth into their protocol, they're one of the they're probably one of the top 5 cryptocurrencies, and I know Charles and the other guys are really smart people. So I'm hopeful we're gonna see products come out of Cardano, especially focusing in Africa. Yeah.
Yeah, they've made a pretty prominent commitment to the continent, so I'm looking forward to that. And obviously, the first project in Ethiopia seems like it will be pretty cool, and hopefully solve some problems for the government and, like you said, for the people. I also did want to go back to my other news story that I shared about the Bantu blockchain. Do you know any of the folks on that team, or have you interacted with that blockchain in particular? I've read a lot of news about them, and I think I've interacted with a few of their folks just in different chat rooms here and there. But what's your thoughts on this?
Yeah, honestly speaking, I remember when they started, but I haven't followed it, so probably I might not be the right person to get in depth on that one. Yeah. But I thank you for the reminder. Actually, I'll look into it.
Yeah, no problem. Like I said, I'm in some sort of room with some of their folks, and they've always shared good information. So I thought it's kind of cool to see this press release that came out this week, and to me, it's definitely a step in the right direction, right? To see an African blockchain project say, "Hey, we're going to focus on tokenizing Africa's resources."
Yeah. Tokenization is also going to be one use case for cryptocurrencies or even stable coins. Maybe if you want, like, I can mention a little bit about that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, sure. So I think tokenization is the idea of it could be a real like real asset, like as a real estate, or it could be a car, or it could be like a digital asset. So tokenization means you create a cryptocurrency out of this asset that can move around the world without any restriction. So, for example, they say you live in the US, and then maybe you want to buy some house, maybe like you want to get a share of a real estate in Canada. So maybe like right now, I don't know the process, but I would assume there's going to be like a lot of paperwork because maybe you are a foreigner to Canada. So to do like business, there could be a lot of procedures involved. But however, if the legal system can catch up with cryptocurrencies, and then tokenization of an asset becomes like very common, I think I can see literally like assets moving around the world, like the digital assets moving around the world, like without any limitation. So let's say if there is a house in Ethiopia that is maybe, let's say, 100K worth, and you want to buy a share of like 10K out of the house, if there is a tokenization method where you can go to an exchange and you can buy that sort of thing, I think it would bring a lot of value also to those countries. So I believe like tokenization would definitely come in the near future, or it's already happening, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I absolutely think that it's a good thing, and I think once again it's a good thing for an African-based blockchain to be the ones to do it, in my opinion. But we'll certainly see. We've had a chance to talk about the future of stablecoins, obviously the future of blockchain in Africa as well, but what's the future of Sanium? What are some of the priorities that you guys look to tackle in the next few years in terms of providing more services or providing more robust services for your customers, users, and clients?
Yeah, sure. So one of the problem we're tackling is for people from Africa to have access to online payments, so they can do literally any they can do like they can buy anything online digitally. So let's say you want to buy from Amazon, we just want to provide them, let's say, debit card that would work with Amazon. If they want to buy a web hosting, we want to provide that opportunity as well. So there are like companies, remittance companies working on this. So I believe for me, it's mainly like creating a like opening up the space for Africans, opening up the resources. So it's not because we're not uneducated, but it just we have like less resources. So we want to open up that opportunity, and then the next step is also whoever uses our platform and build really good history, we want to also provide a sort of like credit line in the future, depending on like their circumstance. So I think if people in Africa are given the opportunity, we can do really well. So that is what I'm seeing. And then the next one is also creating an exchange for African currencies where you can trade from naira to birr to Kenyan shilling. So that is going to be next year. Yeah, pretty much excited.
Yeah, that's awesome news. So I'm definitely looking forward to great things and seeing great things with you guys. I know it's just a matter of time because once again, you tackled a major problem, and it's also about making the world more accessible to everybody, right? That's part of the reason why I wrote my book. I saw where things were going, with COVID, money becoming more digital, these lockdowns, creating the greater demand and need for e-commerce. And I hope me writing the book, one of my hopes is that, we as Black people, wherever we are in the world, we're going to need things just like everybody else. But, sometimes you may choose to get something from Africa and do that business with an African there, and using these sort of financial technology tools to do it, and greater decentralized financial tools as well to do it. It gives us an opportunity to have a more level playing field, a more equitable playing field.
Yes.
That I feel will create a more sustainable global Black economy. So that's pretty much the drive of my book in a nutshell. I obviously speak from an American's point of view, but I also like the opportunity to speak to people like you who have, the opportunity of, once again, living in Africa, having that experience, being here in the United States and sharing that experience. And, thanks again for taking time out to have a conversation with me.
Yeah, thanks so much. Actually, I would love to check out your book as well. So definitely let me know. And yeah, thank you for inviting me. I really appreciate it.
Yeah. So, Matthias, before we go, if there's anything else you'd like to share about Santim, yourself, how people can find you online or social media, or anything else you want to talk about or announce, feel free to do it in these closing minutes.
Yeah, sure. So definitely, like we're also looking for developers to join our team. Right now, we are a team of three. All of us are like developers. So yeah, looking for probably like one or two more developers to help us in building Santim. And yeah, if you also want to reach me out, you can find me on Twitter at TWITT, which is tweet Mati MATI. Again, like that is tweet MATI, or you can also email me MATHI@santim.com. Yes.
Awesome. Well, thanks again, Matthias, for joining us today. And everybody out there, have a great, safe, healthy, and relaxing weekend. And we'll see you next week with Fode, hopefully.
All righty. Thank you so much for having me. I really appreciate it. Bye.
Thank you, Matthias. Take care, everyone.
All right.